All Things Motoring International is owned and brought to you by SA's most trusted online vehicle platform, CHANGECARS. Our name says it all. Whether you're looking to sell, need advice, need finance, or need insurance, CHANGECARS has you covered. In this week's episode of All Things Motoring, we're back with an exciting episode of All Things Lotus. This is a show where performance is showcased through lightweight.
And just like that, our search for a sponsor for sunscreen, caps and sunglasses comes to an end. We're at Redstar Raceway and it is bitterly cold. I would imagine roughly 4 degrees, but there is something to keep you warm, and that is the racing. We're at the Lotus Challenge, and what a challenge it is. We're going to be talking to some of the drivers, some of the people involved with the series, the people who started Class L, and are we excited? More excited than we are about the weather. If you want to get comfortable with a race car, you do this. If you want to get serious with the race car, you do what I'm about to do. Nah, this ain't for me. This is for real racing drivers. So we each have a job to do, and today, clearly my job is to film. You saw me trying to get into the car, just wasn't meant to be. You, Jeff, did it with ease. Tell us about this incredible class of racing.
So we're part of the Lotus Challenge. Lotus Challenge has been racing here in South Africa for almost 30 years. We have many people that start their motorsport journey in our series. They're lightweight, relatively inexpensive cars, lots of feedback, great to race with.
When it comes to racing, no matter the formula, there are always different classes. I think with the Lotus Challenge, it's no different. 2 classes, if I'm not mistaken.
Exactly right. We're currently running 2 classes. So Class B are slightly faster, 20-valve, 1600 Toyota motors, 2 sets of tires for the year, some freedom around exhaust, but otherwise fairly tightly controlled. Car plus driver must weigh 630 kilograms.
That's incredible. Now, Jeff, this series has got an incredible history. I saw on the car there's a sticker that says Lotus 100. Tell us about that.
So we have this amazing thing. Lotus Challenge has been running since 1996. So we're almost coming up to 30 years. Within that, we have something called the 100 Club. And that's where we celebrate drivers that have raced 100 race weekends with the club. There's 5 of us in this club right now. The first member was Gerard Krikke, then followed by James Forbes. I'm number 3.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much. And just recently, we've added to that list Andre Duplessis and also Juan de Toy.
So if ever I do get into this, in 2052, I should be doing my 100th race as an 83-year-old. Jeff, it's been amazing speaking to you. Lots of excitement around us. I can't wait to see these cars on the track. And I think there's some other people we need to speak to.
Please do.
So we've seen these incredible machines on track, and now we're chatting to Nick in Class L. Nick, I don't want to say you got an unfair advantage, but you got a natural advantage. Perfect height, perfect physique. Tell us about what it's like to drive these incredible machines.
Those are great compliments. Way to butter me up. Okay, so we are here with Class L, of course, the second of the two classes in Lotus Challenge, and one that I've been part of since about 2020 now. So, and Class L itself has been running since around 2013. So it's a fairly mature class now. And the brilliant thing about Class L is everything is standard, right? So right from your engine, we're running Ford 1.6 row cams, and that's straight out of the Bantam.
And in terms of performance, what kind of kilowatts are you getting out of these engines?
We are limited. You are not allowed any more than 60 kilowatts on the wheels, and everybody is dynoed. And what that does, you'll see out on track now.
It's close racing.
Such close racing. And in fact, aerodynamically, these cars are super low, right? But actually, they are not great in terms of aerodynamics. So the slipstream is a huge part of Lotus Challenge racing, but particularly Class L, because we have less power than B.
But now racing is an absolute passion. Listen, I look at you, I can see the incredible smile. What is it like being out on the track, competing? It's not about winning or losing, is it? It's just about competing.
It's absolutely about competing, and it's 100% about the dice. The guys here are just looking for the best racing that they can have, the best bang for buck racing, and it's just about that adrenaline rush, going out, having fun with your mates, and we are all mates here, and it's that's our motto: is we want to race together, we want to win together, we want to have fun together, and we want to bride together at the end of the day.
That is stunning. But the one thing that stands out for me about this series, it seems relatively cost-effective. Would you agree on that?
100%. In fact, in Class L, you must speak to Andre just now, because he was the man who sort of spearheaded this class right from the beginning. You can actually rent these cars. So not only do you not have to go out and purchase a car or build one yourself, you can rent one, try it out, see what you like, see if it works. And, like myself, I'm now renting for 4 years, and it's
incredible.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant.
So that's incredibly cost effective. Nick, to you and all the competitors, wishing you the very best. Guess where I'm on the way to?
Thank you very much.
Gonna go rent a car, mate.
Coming up after the break, Ernest is back at Killarney Raceway for the National Extreme Festival. This time for a personal best lap attack, NDT racing.
What do you call a line of men waiting to get a haircut?
What?
A barbecue.
Are you looking to sell? Visit Change Cars and click on the selling tab.
It's the day before the National Extreme Festival, and although I'm a little bit overdressed for the occasion, I'm here now to chat to a team that is going to do something very special tomorrow. They'll be attempting to break their personal record. The car, it's a Lotus, it's a Ferrari, or is it both? Let's go chat to Neon the Toy to find out more. Neon, this car behind us here it's a Lotus, it's a Ferrari, it's something in between, but it's very special. Let's start with why you guys decided to go with this.
Yeah, so Davy, the owner of the car, has got a big love for these Lotuses. He said he tested these cars. Well, he saw a Top Gear episode of these cars coming out. He tested some of the first ones that came into the country and fell in love with the chassis, but from the first day decided it doesn't have enough power. Eventually the Ferrari engine came along and there's actually...
But Ferrari engines and reliability, how does that tie?
Yeah, so Insure, it's a 4-litre and it comes as a turbocharged engine as standard. Now, we always go on the premise that you can probably double a turbocharged engine from factory's power quite reliably. And if you go on that basis, it should easily do 1,000 horsepower. And it's dry sump as standard, so it was actually such an easy fit.
Then there's the upgrades that have happened recently. Talk us through what's changed on this car, because you mentioned there's more power, there's better aero. It's the kind of things that you need to do if you're trying to find that last second, that last 2 seconds.
Yeah, so obviously the car ran at a hill climb. which was sort of a climax for us.
And it won at the hill climb,
Yeah,
eh?
it won-
That's,
that won at-
important, that's
won
an
at-
important note.
Yeah, it won at the hill climb, so that was something that we were really proud of, and that was sort of a climax. We worked towards that, slowly building up the speed and whatever. But just before the hill climb, we obviously saw how much power can we get, and we ran out of turbos. Luckily, because the car was so light, we actually didn't lose much, and we ended up winning the hill climb. So after the hill climb, we're obviously so happy, and Davy just said, we're going to take 50 kilograms out the car, and we're going to add 100 kilowatts in power. So we managed to take out around about 50 kilograms. We did a lot of titanium stuff with Marco and
Marco Rette from
Progress Precision Engineering. He did a lot of stuff, just being able to machine the stuff that I've got in my head. And
You need a guy like that.
yeah. So I stand there with his computer and I just say to him, yeah, like this, and he draws it all up and then machines it. So that's amazing. So he did a lot of that. Davy organized bigger turbos and we did some stuff with the aero, but the stuff with the aero is such fine stuff. It's adding a lip here, moving something a few mil over.
Because it all adds up. One of the things about lightening a car is that effectively you're making the suspension stiffer. So 108.2 was the time that you guys did this morning, which just matched his personal best. You want to beat 108.2 and maybe get in the 107?
Yeah, so I believe Davy can do it. There's some new tires on the car now. If he went home and slept about it a bit, and like I said, in practice he left a lot on the table. You could see it.
So quick couple of questions, rapid fire. Give me 5 stats on the car: power, downforce, etc.
Yeah, so downforce with this track setup is about 1.5 tons. Power turned all the way up at this point with the new turbo 625, and we had to limit it because it went over 1,000 Newton meters. So as crazy as it sounds, when this thing comes past in the back straight, the throttle is only 30% open, but running at 1.6 bar. And the gearbox has got a torque limit. So we ultimately don't want to step over it. So what we're trying to do is get up to the torque limit as quickly as possible and then keep it there as a flat rate, so 900 newtons or 800 newtons through the rev range.
Yeah, the numbers that you told me of the speeds this car does at various parts of the track, it's mind-bending compared to anything else.
This car in third gear, when it's lined up straight out the corner, will put down all the power. It won't need traction control. It doesn't pull the timing. It literally puts down all the power, and then you go through the gears, and it keeps on going.
And that's
it weighs.
acceleration then.
Yeah, so obviously the big aero and the engine being at the back generates so much grip, and that's hard to, if you come from rear-wheel drive or even single-seaters that's, like Formula 4s and stuff, that you often hear them wheel spin out the corner and stuff, and they don't even have a lot of power. They're just very light.
Well, that's why we leave it up to you guys at NDT Racing. I think everybody's going to get a good night's rest and come back and see what happens.
100%.
It's the morning of, and even I'm dressed a bit more comfortably and fit for purpose, and so is Davy, who's strapped in and ready to go in the car already. We're about to find out how fast this car can go and if he's able to beat his personal best. It's time to go racing. .108.2 to beat and a 107.8, I think it was.
Yes, yeah, it's a personal best for me, so I'm over the moon. The car is right, everything is good. Nian did a fantastic job, him and his team. The car feels very good, so it's planted, so I can't complain. It now is all about the driver still from here on.
So what does it mean when this car feels good? Tell us about that experience, because I think many people are going to be 10, 15, 20 seconds off this pace, which is a lot.
Yeah, so if it feels good, it means it listens to you. So it turns in, it brakes when you ask it to brake, it gears down, it does everything that you want it to do. So it's just a matter of getting everything together, and it has, because it is the personal best for me.
Yeah. Well, there you go, folks. This is the journey, and stay tuned, and we'll be joining the guys from NDT Racing to find out more about their future projects and, of course, the Latari.
Coming up after the break, Mike ends off his day at Redstar Raceway and enjoys his love for Lotus. Did you know? Traditionally, Lotus cars have used the least number of parts in its automobiles. The parts used to build Lotus cars are also lightweight. Due to the weight savings, Lotus cars are fast on the track and extremely dependable. Over the decades, several manufacturers have contributed engines to Lotus. The most recent is Toyota. In the 1960s and 70s, Lotus dominated the track, winning a number of titles with drivers like Jim Clark and Emerson Fittipaldi. The key was Lotus' pioneering ground effect aerodynamics, which would later be banned on safety grounds. Incidentally, Nelson Piquet drove the ill-fated Lotus 100T, donning the championship number 1 for the year. But that did not detract from the 7 world championships that Team Lotus had won. Looking for finance and insurance? Visit Change Cars and click on the Financial Products tab.
So you'll notice I've got my hands in my pocket, and normally I'm always talking with my hands. Today there's a very specific reason. It is absolutely freezing, but we have got a special story. Andre, you are the co-founder of Class L. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so many years ago I bought a book that says how to build your own sport car for as little as 250 pounds, which obviously was a dream, and I started building, welding a chassis in my dad's garage.
I was going to say, you said it's BS, you can do it for 200 pounds.
Yeah, well, so at that point there was a book and you could do it. Bought an old Escort, you cut the roof off, you use everything. So I tried to do that, and I realized my welding is not so great at that point. Bought a kit from a chap called Brad Willie from Locos SA. Became friends, and I started building a Lotus 7, my own car. Brad built a few cars, we built a few cars together, started getting it going, and then they started racing in Lotus, and I said, I want to do that racing. So immediately I built a new car, a race car, to a spec that we sort of came up with as a group at that point.
That's incredible. Now, talking about building a car to the spec that you want, where do the ideas come from? Is it just common consensus? How does it work?
So at that point, we sort of formed a little club by ourselves, and we all worked together and found, what could work in South Africa. So the kit is based around the Ford Sierra as a donor car. So you use brakes and uprights and diff and everything from a Sierra. And the Rocam engine was an engine we could buy brand new from Ford, out of the crate at that point.
But now when everybody started joining, did it feel real right there?
Well, yes. So Lotus kindly said, look, if you've got a few cars, we can give you your own class, which eventually happened. We built it up to that point, kept the rules really tight. The gears was so great, because after every race we would braai. We always say, we go to the track to braai, and before we braai, we race a bit.
It's quite clear, the camaraderie here is exceptional. Walking around, you get the impression that everybody is here to help. When you are setting up a car, you got a challenge, or your colleagues got a challenge, or the guys climb in and help?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I had a really big crash at the previous race at Swartkops. It's more a brotherhood of racing than a bunch of competitors coming to the track to see who's fastest.
So we've got Class B, we've got Class L that you started. Your name is Andre. You got the right attitude. Start Class A, wishing you the very, very best.
Funny thing, we're thinking about that.
Really? I'm the proud owner of a 2007 Jeep Wrangler Unlimited, and it's got a lot in common with the vehicle next to me. Let me give you an example. This vehicle, what is still stock standard? The rear view mirrors, For the rest, Paul, I think it's fair to say that there ain't anything standard on this car.
No, not fond of standard things.
I can see
so
that.
No, it's very converted, interior and exterior.
So even the name, we know it as a Jeep Wrangler originally. This is now called a Titan 6. It's a bit of a combination of Gladiator meets Wrangler. Tell us about this absolute beauty monster behind us.
The car is very much like the Gladiator. The difference here being is you've still got the full double cab and the bit at the back.
Yes.
The whole reason for building it was to tow race cars originally. And the first one we built, someone bought it before we finished it. So we've now got to the stage where we're on number 6. The vehicle is, when I say customized, from supercharger right the way through to custom tailgate on the back.
So there's so much we can talk about. When you think of a Jeep Wrangler or any normal car, and I use the word normal, it's got 4 wheels. When it's a 4x4, it's special. The thing has got 6 wheels. Tell us about that concept.
So originally we built it as a 6-wheeler because we wanted to have the extra piece in the back to carry race wheels in. And it wasn't too important for us to have the 6-wheel drive.
Right.
We have had a client since then who wanted the 6-wheel drive, so we imported the system from America, built it in to make it a 6-wheel drive unit.
And then you'd refer to that as a 6x6.
That's a 6x6.
Amazing.
This one is 6 wheels, but 4 wheels driving, because once again, it's a towing vehicle for someone's caravan, and they do that kind of stuff. They're not heavy off-roaders. But yeah, the option exists.
So when you look at the perfect conversion, it's got to look good. This car looks good. It's got to go good. You spoke about the motor. A little Varum, tell us about that.
Yeah, because the owner of this vehicle wanted it with a bit of go in it, we dropped the Sprintec supercharger into it, which has pushed us up to just over 400 horsepower. We used the original Pentastar motor. It's a good motor. The normal ones are used in the States for the postal services. So the motors can take a punishment.
Now for the most important part. Everybody watching this, tell me you don't want one. I want one. How do I go about it, Paul?
So we run an order system. You'd literally contact us. We have the website, sixwheeljeep.co.za. Email me. We have a chat. You sit down. We look at budgets, what you want to do with it. We'll make suggestions. We take it from there. At the moment, we're running a 3-month waiting list. And we are 2 cars behind.
That's incredible.
6 months to go, you can have a car.
Now, you look at a vehicle like this is premium. I look at it, I think, 2.5, 3 million rand, but it is substantially less. Am I correct?
It is. We can build one at 1.5 million.
That is incredible.
That is fully customized without supercharger and 4-wheel drive. If you want to go supercharged or turbocharged and have the 6-wheel drive on it, you're pushing yourself up for 500,000 on top of that.
But you're still coming in under 2 million rand for a monster that stands out for all the right reasons.
Absolutely, you are. Obviously, if you want to do a brand new one, you end up at 2.3 because the new car is 1 million rand a shot to buy in the first place. So,
if ever I win the lotto, it's going to be with even numbers. However, you'll see the details on your screen right now. Paul, it's been amazing speaking to you. The ingenuity to put together a concept like this, well done to you and your team.
Thank you so much, appreciate it.
We're coming up to the last race of the day. What is absolute standout for me is how the racing culture in South Africa is alive and thriving. We've got the most incredible tracks. Look at Kyalami International Grand Prix Circuit, Killarney in Cape Town, Aldo Scribanti, East London Grand Prix Circuit, and then what I call the local circuits. We're less than an hour out of Joburg, in Delmas in Mpumalanga, at the incredible Redstar Raceway. What a track. Easily accessible. The facilities are incredible. You speak to any of the participants. Do they like Redstar Raceway? They rave about it. The day has been incredible. The Lotus Challenge, what a series. The people we've spoken to. Are we proud? We always are, but today, more than ever. All Things Motoring, our name truly says it all, and now it's time to take all things to the next level. All things finance, all things performance, all things off-road, all things modified, you name it, you get the picture. We'd love to work with your brand, and if you think that your brand is a perfect fit for us, contact us on allthingsmotoring.co.za, and we would like to bring you all things together.
Here is the screen top tip of the week. Mind the fluids. Check fluids like you're tending to potions in a wizard's workshop. Each one has its own magical purpose. Before you buy a second-hand car, screen it. It's what smart people do. Coming up next week on All Things Motoring, we celebrate episode 100 as Mike goes rallying and Ernest attends the Franschhoek Classic Car Festival. This is a show to remember.
First time ever getting in this beauty. You gotta be you cannot get in here.
I will be chatting to one of the drivers and, sorry. One of the teams, my bad.
Now this is being larger than life.
Toyota, of course, is a massive supporter of local motorsport, and this year, being the GR Cup stable, means that all these cars lined up here are for the media. For the media? I wonder if I'll fit in one of these. Let's see, no one's gonna know.
So now for the most important part. Everybody watching this, tell me you don't want. Sorry, man. I swear, I'm freezing, guys. No, I'm freezing, you don't understand. My head is not focusing. Okay. When it comes to expressions, the Afrikaans language has the absolute best. One that stands out for me is aanhouer wen. Watch this. Or in English, if at first you don't succeed, try again. Now that was a piece of pie.
Do you need any motoring advice? From where or what to buy? And where to sell? Visit the All Things Motoring International website and click the Advice tab to ask Mikey. All Things Motoring International was brought to you by SA's most trusted online vehicle platform, CHANGECARS. Our name says it all. There is no safer online vehicle platform. That's not an opinion, that's a fact.